I remember coming up here probably 15 years ago, my first time coming to Bayonne. Total stranger, didn't know anybody. I had this idea that we'd take this landfill, this dump that the city had along the water on its eastern shore, property that was never accessed or utilized by any city residents. And instead of leaving it a dump and a depository for dredge, we'd convert it to something a little different. We'd create a world-class golf course and a golf facility. I remember sitting here and in a public forum with a lot of people, and there was a lot of interest in this. A lot of people wanted to see a public golf course. A lot of people wanted to be here and have access to the golf course. And it was a concept that took a lot of time to be creative and figure out how to do this. It was an enormously complicated project. The end result was a world-class facility known around the world. People that would never have come to the Bayonne have come here. We've created what I think is an extension and what I envisioned when we did this, Bayonne being the next Gold Coast project or city that's going to benefit from access and proximity to New York City. And I saw that, and I got to tell you, when I got here, a lot of people discouraged me from doing the project. A lot of people said, this is no good. You can't do this, it'll never work. A lot of people said, boy, just don't call it Bayonne. Do anything, but don't call it Bayonne. Just call it Manhattan View or something like that. And I came to the city, and I was just taken by the people and the commitment of the residents. I've worked in 100 communities, and I can honestly say I don't know people more in love with their city than the residents of Bayonne, and it encouraged me. And as we got in here and got into this project and developed a private club, that's not something that goes well. But what did we do? We created a private club. We created, I think, many, many jobs. We also probably are one of the largest taxpayers in the city. We built 1.5 miles of public walkway that the residents who never got on the eastern shore are now benefiting from, with fishing spots and. But in a bigger way, we put Bayonne name out in the world as no different than any of the other northern Jersey port cities and port communities or shore communities. I am committed to the city of Bayonne, and that's kind of why I'm sitting here. We're here 15 years. I'm not a resident, but I feel like a resident. I feel like I'm part of the community, and I love the community, and I'm committed to seeing this place grow and be better, and that's why we're participating in this. And so the least you'll get from me is honesty and truthfulness. The least you'll get from me is a straight answer. I was of the belief a long time ago that this whole BLRA military development should have gone and proceeded a little differently than it had. The wisdom of the community now is, hey, let's go do something here and get this thing done. I think it's extremely important that the city does something and doesn't just do something because it's the most money. We're going to sell it and do that. This is an opportunity for the city to create a position, bring people in from the outside, create ratables and jobs. To me, it's ratables and jobs. And that's what you're really here to do. And this is a long-term investment for the city. So I want to be here. I want to be part of that. That's why we came with the Cameron Group. We teamed up. I think we're probably two of the most credible proposers. I'm going to assume that. We're here, we've done it, we've proven ourselves. I don't know who else is you're interviewing, but we're the real deal. We're serious about it and we're committed to it. We're realistic. We're going to tell you the truth. We're not going to promise you pie in the sky. We're not going to bait and switch you and tell you, well, we're going to throw these crazy numbers at you, and then the next thing you know, we're going to come back and say, hey, this is not going to work. We came up with a concept, I think, that makes real sense for the city. And the concept is a ground lease, long-term opportunity that, in our view, the city can benefit way in the future. That you don't just take advantage of what you have today and it's gone, but that you can grow and as this succeeds, the city can succeed with it. And it allows somebody like us to really get into this and get into it in a way that we can benefit and maximize what this property can yield, and the city can also benefit from it. Any prospective person that's going to speak to the city, it's all just a show. In all honesty, we could have put a board up here and showed you a lot of pretty pictures, but the reality is any commercial development that's going to happen on this, it's going to take time to mature it. It's going to take time to realize it because, it doesn't happen overnight. So we're talking, and we'd like to propose something where it's all commercial development, all ratables, all jobs. That's the goal, I think, with this, and I think that's what it should be. Everything else around there now is all housing. The commitment to another 900 units, 2 sections of about 900 units, I believe, plus the existing Trammell Crow. That's a lot of housing. That's a loser. You lose. The city might as well just write checks because that's what it's going to be. We want to do something else. We want to create another opportunity here that the city will grow and benefit. We're not going to bait and switch you. We're going to tell you the real deal. We're going to come up with a formula that's going to benefit the city long term on a lease. And in our proposal, we offered there's opportunities also get money, cash for this. So the city has a chance to do a lot of opportunities with this. But we're credible. We love the city. We're here. We're not going anywhere. You can trust us. We'll tell you the truth. We're going to be very realistic. And if we can't do it, we'll tell you we can't do it. Tom's going to speak to you. Tom's from the Cameron Group. He's done this. He's developed a retail portion of this site of Bayonne. He's done a tremendous job. Nobody has more knowledge than Tom and his team. He's been there. He's talked to everybody, and the reality that he's dealt with already. Nobody else has that experience. So that's why we've teamed up. We've done it. We've created it in the city, and Tom has the experience already. So thank you for having us. I'm sure we're going to be coming many times more as you go through your evaluation. I'm going to introduce Tom Valente from the Cameron Group to close our remarks. Thank you.
Thank you, Eric, and thank you, Mayor, President Ruane, and members of the city administration for inviting us here today. I also want to introduce my partner, Joe Gaethie. Joe was primarily responsible for the leasing of Bayonne Crossing, and the reference that Eric had alluded to earlier about talking to many of these tenants is primarily Joe's responsibility. I want to go back in history a little bit. I met Eric Bergstall in 1986 when he taught me a great negotiating lesson, and that was don't chase anything that doesn't make sense. I had just been placed in charge of the Palisades Center project up in Rockland County, and we had lost badly on a zone change. And I had to look for an alternative site, and the next day I went out and looked at the site in Orangeburg, New York. Just so happened that Eric and his dad owned 5 acres right in the middle of the site. And I was gung-ho to get the site under control. I got all of these other parcels under control, and then I come to Eric and his dad, and they wouldn't return my phone calls, they wouldn't see me, we would have meetings, they would be late. And so we went through this negotiating process because I thought, man, we gotta hustle. We've got tenants that are ready to go. We gotta do everything that we can. And Eric waited me out and got the better of me. And there's an interesting end to the story. So we conclude a deal which was way more than we originally wanted to pay. And about 2 days later, I get a call from our engineer, and he says, we just found out that this site is loaded with asbestos, and it's really bad because it's in the groundwater. So I called Eric up and I said, hey, this was really great negotiating with you. I learned a lot, but we're not going to do the deal. Okay, now there's a coda to this story. 6 or 7 years later, Eric develops the site, puts a great retail project on it, and we developed our Palisade Center back on the original site. We've remained friends over the years. We've always been looking for something to do together. When I found out, by the way, I came here in 2003. First thing I was shown was the peninsula. The last time I was there was 1976 when I was a young law student and was looking at Navy records at the Military Ocean Terminal, and there was a water spout in the harbor, and I was told to go in a basement for an hour and a half. They locked me in. I had no way of getting out, and finally they let me out after an hour and a half, and I said, there's probably some good reason why I've had to be in Bayonne, and little did I know that back in 2003 I was going to be here looking at the same Military Ocean Terminal. We then went and looked at the crossing property. And we were surrounded by oil tanks. We had an Exxon brownfield site. We talked about the development of retail, and after talking to some tenants and an initial adverse reaction that some of them had because of it being surrounded by oil tanks, we focused on the phenomenal demographics, the people, as Eric said, the people of Bayonne. When you look at the numbers, the density, the income levels, it is a great community. I often said that first time I came here, I felt like I was stepping back into what urban areas of this country used to be, where there are close-knit communities, where there's a church, a synagogue, or a Muslim mosque, every 3 blocks. Bayonne is wonderful, and I share the same belief that Eric has about it. We were very successful in our development of Bayonne Crossing. We had spoken with just about every retail tenant out there in connection with the crossing. We settled on 2 excellent national credit anchor tenants in Lowe's and Walmart, and the Walmart deal was really somewhat fortuitous. We had worked with them as one of the original tenants for the center, and when we made a better deal with Lowe's and didn't think that we could fit Walmart on the property, we went with another tenant. That other tenant had filed Chapter 11, and then we came up with the Walmart deal. Joe and I were meeting with them in December of 2008 after this other tenant went Chapter 11, and they came up with a new prototype. And the reason I bring that up is because you need to be flexible in the development of retail. You need to have great relationships with the tenants. You need to be able to understand what they're looking for. You need to be able to understand what the community is looking for. And I think that we brought that to the crossing project. I believe that we've demonstrated our commitment to the community of Bayonne by the fact that when we were asked to consider the development of the property adjacent to Bayonne Crossing for Royal Wine Cadem, we undertook that project. We bought the property, we entered into a relationship with Royal Wine. That building is under construction. It's going to be close to a 300,000 square foot state-of-the-art warehouse and distribution center. We took on the environmental responsibility. That project is well underway. Steel has been going up now for the last week or so, and we look to that being completed in October of this year. We are also going to be jointly developing the Best Foods warehouse and surrounding property. That deal is probably going to close in the next week or two. So we have a very strong commitment to the city of Bayonne. And also, with respect to a commercial development, great knowledge, great firsthand experience of what it takes to get the job done, and also relationships that will yield great benefits for us at the peninsula. We have already spoken to a number of national retail anchors about the peninsula. We believe that there is significant interest. We are looking to make it a destination retail location, one that is certainly beneficial from many respects, including the shopping benefits for the residents of Bayonne, but one that's going to, a location that's going to attract people from the region in general. We think that the peninsula offers great opportunity with respect to the fact that the cruise lines are already there, that more is going to happen with the reconstruction of Exit 14A. So we're very confident that we can bring national anchor tenants to the location. We want to focus on commercial development and primarily retail, but it's not only retail, it's restaurants. It's at least 2 national brand hotel uses to the project. We think that not only will the hotels benefit from the location of the cruise lines and the passengers' needs for overnight stays, but I could tell you personally, from having worked here since 2003, Bayonne needs a hotel badly. I think that the fact that right across the canal we've got one of the greatest golf courses in the country will help that location for the hotels. And we think also that with respect to the retail, that we are going to bring some unusual retailers to the table. We have very close friends who we've worked with in our prior lives at another development company that now head up one of the nation's foremost outlet development companies. And we look to them and have been talking to them about providing outlet kinds of retailers to the peninsula. And we believe that that is a very good likelihood that that will happen. Rather than presenting to you a definitive plan for the retail development, we're looking at something in excess of 400,000 square feet. It could be as high as 600,000 square feet. As I said, it would be primarily anchored by 2 major top-of-the-line anchor retailers, and then smaller retailers, restaurants, entertainment facilities, and then the hotels. We believe that the tenants are going to be the main drivers of that plan. And that's another reason why we don't focus on a definitive plan that someone thinks is fully baked when it won't be. We also want to provide the city with a lucrative yet flexible financial arrangement. And that's why we've come up with this primary vehicle of doing a ground lease arrangement. Now, that's not to say that we wouldn't be able to provide the city with upfront dollars that would be pretty significant, but we think that it's far better for the city to have long-term income, and long-term income that could be tied to the success of the development, so that the city, over the long term, not only has a stream of income, but has a stream of income that can grow. And we believe that with your legal and financial advisors, we can put a program together that will ensure the city with a baseline income and then with an element of growth to that. We hope that you will seriously consider our proposal. We look forward to working with you as we have in the past, worked with you on the Bayonne Golf Course, the Bayonne Crossing, Royal Foods, Best Foods, and we believe that we can provide you something that is sustainable, is a long-term benefit for the city, and that we will produce what we promise. We can persevere, and we have shown by our concrete accomplishments that we can do what we say we're going to do. And we really appreciate this opportunity for you to consider us. Thank you.